all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Al Shai Ba'Shem Rakakodah Shalom to the 144,000, the rest of you elect out there. Shalom to all. And I'm going to entitle this video, That They May Go into the Gates of the Nobles. And this is from Isaiah chapter 13, verse 2. Another one of my favorite chapters, prophetic chapters, which is 22 verses, and it goes into how we're gonna, as it says in Matthew 24, this gospel shall be preached or published throughout the whole planet, and then the end will come. Matter of fact, let me go to that. I want to look up the word, the whole world, Matthew 24, and I'll come back to give me a second to pop up. Also, the second part of the video or title is Wes Huff knows about the Israelites, because he's asked a question. And he does know about vocab Malone. He says, you'll hear it. He'll say, well, I'm going to stay in my lane. He said vocab Malone deals with that department or whatever. I'm going to let you hear. He actually says it. He mentions vocab Malone. He's questioning about what somebody put a comment. What about the black Hebrew Israelites? So he's well aware of the Hebrew Israelites. And that's that fame, because Wes Huff, he got fame through the debate, the infamous debate between Billy Carson, I believe his name is, and now he's on Joe Rogan. He's on different shows. He's like a famous guy when it comes to the scriptures. So of course somebody's gonna say, "What about the black Hebrew Israelites?" And he kind of said, And I wouldn't even deal with him, as far as he goes into a lot of information on the year the Bible was brought together, the Codex Sinaiticus, and the Dead Sea Scrolls. We don't deal with none of that, man. Well, how you know you're reading the right book? Because through the Spirit, Let me see. Okay, let me do this. Just type in the word world. It's 8:36. Okay, right here, 14. And this gospel. And what is a gospel? Christians say that means Jesus loves you. That's the whole gospel. No, the gospel is the book, the Genesis to Revelation, all the books in between. That includes the Apocrypha. And we back up, the scriptures with different documents, which are outside the Bible, extra biblical. It says, in this gospel of the kingdom's only for the Israelites. That's why these Gentiles are fighting to get in. That's why you got these, people that look like Edomites. And a lot of them, I believe, are Israelites that look like Edomites, so they're scared. So some of them that actually sincerely roll up on the camp, they're really looking to get in. And that happened back over 2,000 years ago. You had a certain group, a large group of Edomites that heard about this thing, that had their foreparents, their ancestors came up during the time of the Maccabees, and I'm sorry, after the Maccabees, during the Maccabees and during the time of high priest Hyrcanus, I believe he was the high priest, and he killed a lot of them, but he said, look, I'm going to spare some of y'all, but you got to keep the laws. And they said, we'll keep the laws, anything from getting put to death. So you did have Edomites that knew that they were Edomites under Roman rule, that were trying to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and they even fought, and I said this in the previous video, that they even fought side by side against other Edomites to show, look, we're fighting for you. We're protecting you so we can go to the kingdom. But guess what? No matter what you do, if you're an Edomite, you're going into captivity. It says, in this gospel of the kingdom goes for Israel, prepared for Israel, shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto what? All nations. So this has to be published. This has to be made famous before the destruction comes. And before the destruction comes, the mark of the beast has to come. And then shall the end come. So now let's look up the word. Let's look up the word preach, and let's look up the word world, and let's even look up the word gospel. Try not to make this long, but I got a bunch of precepts that I'm gonna give you that I put together. I just put together. Okay, gospel. Evangelion, I believe it's pronounced.
Strong's G 2098, Evangelion. Evangelion.
Evangelion. A reward for good tidings. Good tidings. The glad tidings of the kingdom of the Most High is soon to be. Which now it says glad tidings or gospel, which is good tidings or glad tidings. In the Old Testament, it's I believe it's. Let me do this. I'm sorry. They say it means good news. Oh, I have good news. It's going to be a boy. Or I have good news. So and so's operation was a success. That's how you use that word. Good news, right? Good news or glad tidings. Hey, when Trump became the next, president-elect, that was good news to people that supported him. So you would use that word, Evangelion. Let me go to the root of the word. Okay. To bring good news, to announce glad tidings. Oh, it's a boy. It's a healthy baby boy. 10 pounds. Oh, that's a big kid. That's good news. Let's celebrate. When in Israel, when the man and woman got together, the marriage just, we get the word merge. Two companies get together, they marry. Two major corporations get together, they merge, which they marry. And then when the company when they break up, what do? They split everything in half. So when you get married to a woman, that's a business contract. The marriage breaks up, that's why they get half. That's why they get half, dumbasses. Because it's a business contract. Hey, when you deal with a prostitute, that's a business contract. That's a quick marriage. You get married and then divorce. Babyface and Tony Braxton did a album. I think it was called Divorce and Marriage and Divorce. Good album. Came out some years ago. More recent stuff. Great album. And it was about relationships, which mostly all songs are about. Anyway, this is what I want to do. I want to go to the word. I want to go to Luke 4. I believe it's Luke 4. Luke 4. Okay, the temptation of the Lord. He was tempted by the spiritual demon. Okay, the Lord's public ministry. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's start from here. Yahweh's public ministry. And Yahweh returned in the power of spirit into Galilee, and there went out a fame of him throughout all the region round about. And when when the devil had ended all his temptation, okay. The fame of him, the fame went out. He started doing things, and people started noticing him. It says, and he taught in their temples, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he was raised up, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into this temple on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. Now, had he had a wife, could he have gotten it in with his wife the night before? You know, people, let's assume that it fell on a Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. That Friday night, could he get it in with his wife if he had a wife at that time, which he didn't? No, because if he did, he would be violating the law of the Sabbath, and he would make himself unclean. She would be unclean, and the penalty for the breaking the Sabbath in any way is death. Now, all of us break the Sabbath in one way or another. When it says about how they word it, kindle a fire. Now, Vocab made a statement. He said, look, if you drive a car, that means on the Sabbath, that means you kindling a fire, because there's a small, you have what's called internal combustion engine. Combust means to bust, to explode. When your car goes, a gas-driven car, it's what makes it go is a series of explosions that keep the car going. That's why if you pull a spark plug out, it makes a whole lot of noise. You have a muffler system. You lose a muffler, that car makes all kind of noise because you're hearing a series of combustions. So the muffler, this, that, and the third is a silencer, for the combustion. So even if you drive, if you really want to get technical, on the Sabbath, you get up, you start your car, you broke the Sabbath. Cook something, you broke the Sabbath. I don't cook on the Sabbath. The Sabbath that passed, I had to eat some organic Doritos. No, I'm sorry, I didn't even have them. I had popcorn, organic popcorn. I ate that. I couldn't. If I had some sandwich meat, which I don't do the sandwich thing. I haven't ate a sandwich in years. But all I ate was popcorn, and then and I was good. I was cool with it. And then, come that night, I was able to eat. So it's damn near almost like a fast. But I didn't have anything prepared. But that's all right. That's okay. Or I might have a smoothie, which technically you can't even have a smoothie because you got to use electricity. If you really want to get technical. So anybody that says, Captain Zarek says he keeps the laws perfectly. No, you do not. Because if that was the case, that chick that you dealt with that ran off to do an interview with Brother Polite to make you look bad, she really didn't understand the truth. Even though you told her, women don't understand. When they become disenchanted, they throw all that stuff in the garbage, right? Well, guess what? Under law, shouldn't you have killed her for leaving you? Any of your women that leave you or deal with another man, because when she leaves you, she's got to get with another man unless she leaves and don't deal with nobody. So it would be in your right to kill that woman. But can you imagine doing that shit? Are you crazy? You can't do that shit. You know, you have cases of adultery in the IUIC. Now they claim to keep the law. Well, there was a big thing, and it was public because he put on video how this guy was committing adultery with his brother's wife, and I believe the guy that was committing adultery had a wife that was actually pregnant. And here you got the heads of the IUIC laughing at it. I like that freaky stuff. That's what Nate said. That show you what type of man he says. How do you think the man that's the victim of adultery feel about that? That's a whole fucked up situation. It's a whole fucked up situation. And here you got this guy laughing at it, man. And airing out his business. How you think that guy felt? And then if this guy was a man and he had a backbone, he would kill that guy. And then you guys would have to you would have to cover it up. Well, we can't tell the police because he wasn't as right. So none of you niggas keep the laws. You rehearse the laws. At best you rehearse the laws. Anyway, please forgive me. That's a whole different subject. So you guys with that, I keep the law perfectly. Nigga, no you don't. You don't keep the law perfectly, man. You don't even know the law to keep the law. There's 600 plus laws. When you go to the supermarket and you buy meat, you don't know if that chicken died on its own of a disease. You don't know that. It says you cannot eat an animal that dieth of itself. The farmer has to kill the animal. There's a process. A lot of that meat that you eat, majority of it, a lot of these diseased animals die of themselves, and they say, well, we ain't gonna throw it away. We're gonna cut it up and we're gonna sell it. So you know, hey, look, if you go to the store, you can't say, well, I didn't know. They didn't tell me. Okay, good. If you go to the store and you buy something, they can give you some meat. Like when we go to restaurants, we'll say, what's in this? What is this made out of? What grease do you use? Oh, we use lard. I can't eat here no more. You know? Sometimes we'll go to certain restaurants, the Mother Nation, they'll give you free food. Well, look, here this is fish and this and that, and give us. And then you got to say, well, what? I'll tell Sakaran, I said, what kind of fish is this? It's so-and-so fish. Okay, look it up. Does it have fins and scales? Yes, this fish has fins and scales. We can eat it. Oh, no, this is a cousin to the catfish or whatever. No, we can't eat that. So a lot of times you eat ingredients. A lot of y'all don't even go, when you go buy stuff, you don't even look at the labels. If I get something that's new, I'm going to look at the label to see what's in it. I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to call them. I've called companies to ask if this, you know, does this have pork in it, or is this made of this, or that made of that. You know? Hey, Jake is crazy, man. There's one Jake fighting about 30 damn Edomites. He's all up in their face. This nigga crazy. I'm sorry, I'm watching I got the Alex Jones on my Roku TV. But you gotta get that. Anyway, let me see. But that's a whole rant I went on just the Sabbath. And you guys that claim the laws, where's your paddle? Pursuant to Deuteronomy, you have to have a paddle on the side of your garment. Where is your phylacteries? And don't tell me, oh, the phylacteries are spiritual. Nope. The phylacteries are a physical thing, just like the fringes and border of blue. So if a IUIC says where your fringes at, you ask them, where's your paddle, and where's your phylacteries? Where's that? What is that? Deuteronomy 4, I believe it's Deuteronomy, either Deuteronomy 4 or Deuteronomy 6. All right? And then you can tell the IUIC, for example, or any of them. First of all, you guys are telling me where's my fringes. First of all, you don't even keep the Sabbath right. When's the Sabbath come in? It comes in Friday, Sunday, and Saturday, sundown. The scriptures prove it. Where's that in the precepts? Well, it says the seventh day. So don't come with me. We know how to deal with people like you. Okay? You guys that claim you keep the law. The only hey, The reason why in Judges 5:11 is in there that says, in the land of drawing water, hewing wood and drawing water, which represents slavery. That's in Joshua. It says, there you shall rehearse the righteous acts. What does it mean to rehearse? The word there in the Hebrew goes back to the word recount. In other words, you got to keep the law to the best of your. But you guys can't even keep the Passover. The only way you can keep the Passover is if you have a farm where you raise cattle and you take a sheep, a lamb, or a goat, and you got to make sure it's a male. You got to make sure it's 1 year old. And then you got to make sure there's no blemish. So you got to thoroughly check the lamb. It has to be a pure white, or pure, with no blemishes on it at all. Different colors to it, some gray, some brown, or whatever, some white, some mixture. It has to be a pure animal that is a male that is 1 year old. If it's 2 years old, you broke the law. So stop it with that. I keep the law. And look, I'm not gonna say anything else. A lot of you guys, like Hakar calls himself a priest, and he's got a bald head. Hassan lines himself up. So you're marring your beard, man. So stop it with that holier than thou BS. And even Peter, when they had the Jerusalem Council, Acts 15, Peter told Paul and them, they had a council, Jerusalem Council. Look it up. Google Jerusalem Council. Take you right to Act 15. Peter said, "No, you don't got to be circumcised." But wait a minute, the Lord said you got to be circumcised. That's a covenant. Colossians 2:16. Don't let nobody judge you concerning which is a shadow of things to come. Me and the kingdom, we're going to keep the laws. Anyway, I'm sorry I went on a big rant, but that's good too. Okay, so now, right here, my point here was, okay, give me a second. Custom was to go into the synagogue. I went into a whole rant over the fact that if you got guys saying you can have sex on the Sabbath. IUIC says that. I believe ISUBK. I'm not sure, but I do know that IUIC said you can have sex on the Sabbath. Well, how can you keep yourself holy if you have sex on the Sabbath because you're unclean? Shows you that the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not dealing with them. It says, as his custom was, so if Yahushua happened to have a wife, he could not have sex with his wife. And stood up for to read, and there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. Now, it didn't say Isaiah 61 because it wasn't codified back there. It was in the form of the scrolls. That's why it says in another place it says that. It wasn't quoted. They didn't say this. They didn't say the book of Jeremiah 22, whatever, 23 verse 5 or whatever. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, the Spirit of Yahweh, which is Isaiah chapter 61. And then he says, closes the scrolls, give the scroll back. And then he said, today this prophecy has been fulfilled. Did the whole Isaiah 61, was that whole chapter fulfilled? No. When you jump down, what is it, the 4th, 5th verse? I believe it's actually the 5th verse. It says that we're going to put the nations in captivity. So if the first 4 or 5 verses were fulfilled 2,000 years ago, when is the rest of Isaiah 61 going to be fulfilled? It's going to be fulfilled now. And I'm gonna go into it real quick. Book of Isaiah, and as he read, I opened the book, and I found the place where it was written, the Spirit of Yahweh. Right, Yahweh is upon me because he hath anointed me. The me is Yahweh Shai. That shows you that the Father gave him the power. The Father raised him from the dead to preach the gospel to the poor, which were Israelites. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted. We were brokenhearted because we were taken over by another nation, the Romans, which are Edomites, to preach the deliverance to the captives and recovering of the sight to the blind, literally blind and spiritually, mentally blind and spiritually blind. When we go out there and teach you this truth, before you heard this truth, before we went on YouTube, you were blind. You went to church, you believed this, some of you were Islam, whatever the case may be. And then when you watch these videos, your eyes were open to set at liberty them that are bruised. So who are bruised? The Israelites during the time of the Roman persecution, right? And it says to be free. Now, they figured they were going to be physically free. They were going to be mentally free. Like us, when you come into this truth, you find out why you're in this condition, and so your eyes are open. But are you in the kingdom? No. To preach the acceptable year of Yahweh. And he closed the book, and then as you read down, it says, he said, this prophecy has been fulfilled. And he said, this guy, what does this guy think he's Messiah? Let's kill this guy. Let's kill him. Okay, so I just wanted to go into that. See, they accepted John as maybe being Elijah, but the people accepted Yahushua as being the Messiah, but the scribes and the Pharisees didn't. So anyway, I'm sorry I went into a rant, but there's lessons in everything. Where do I want to go now? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's come back here. What I wanted to do was actually go to, I'm sorry, let's do this. Isaiah. It may seem like I'm all over the place, but there's lessons within that. 61. Okay, so this is where you read out of. I'll start from the top. The Spirit of Yahweh. He opened up the book and he started the scroll and he started from the first verse, Isaiah 61. The Spirit of Yahweh is upon me, which is his Father, because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings. Good tidings. Good tidings. Let's go back to. Now you got guys like Vogt. Those are two different statements. No, they're not. Good tidings and let me see what it says here in Luke 4. Where am I going? Okay, I'm sorry. Luke. Let me go back to Luke 4. Luke 4. Okay, I'm going to see where it says Luke 4 and 1. I'm sorry, not 1. Okay. Isaiah 61, it says, good tidings. The Spirit of Yahweh is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. Now in the Old Testament it says good tidings or good news. Either way, gospel means good news, good tidings means good news. So I just wanted to get that out the way. Get that out the way. So don't let no Christian, because I seen it done. Vocab tried this bullshit. Oh, the gospel is different from good titles. No, good tidings and gospel means the same thing. It just happened to say gospel in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, it it says in the Old Testament, in Isaiah 61, it says good tidings. Same thing. It all means good news. And that's the whole book, like I said in the beginning of this video. I'm sorry. So now let's come back over here to Matthew. I'm all over the place, but stick with me. Stick with me. So in it, so gospel. We found out Old Testament, good tidings, gospel. What does gospel mean? It means good news of the kingdom, which going to Israel, Matthew 10, shall be preached in all the world. So now, shall meaning future tense. It will be preached in all the world. Let's look up the word world. A lot of you guys would go to precepts, and then if somebody said, well, what does it say 2 verses above that? And you lost. Well, what is the meaning of that word? That's why you got to, well, it's from the Greek word that means this. It's from the Hebrew word that means that. Let me see something. Okay, let me look up the word preached. I think I already know what it is.
Strong's G 2784. Caruso.
There's an Italian singer named Caruso, and I believe the word in Italian means to sing. I'm not going to go all into it, but it's actually a Greek word, but in Latin or Italian it's a little different. Caruso, to be a herald. Right now, the word herald means to be a prophet. Herald means prophet. Look the word herald up. To officiate as a herald or a prophet, to proclaim after the manner of a herald. Keep saying a herald, right? The only ones that can teach out there are prophets. A lot of you guys are not prophets. Some of you guys are. Always with the suggestion of familiarity, gravity, and authority, which must be listened to and obeyed, because you have a leadership. You got guys just going on their own. They just doing their own thing, setting up at their own camps, not coming up under the leadership. Like, I would understand if you went up under IUIC or went up under ISUBK or went up under GMS or whatever. To publish, proclaim openly. Right, that's why we go out on the highways and the byways, which is commanded in the New Testament. And it's a tradition, you know? It says to publish, proclaim openly. Don't hide nothing. Buy the truth and sell it not. It says something which has been done, use of a public proclamation of the gospel, which is the whole book, and matters pertaining to it made by John the Baptist, by Yahushua, by the apostles and other Christian teachers. Christian teachers meaning Israelite teachers that come under the order of the apostles. There's only a handful of apostles out there, man. And the word apostle could be applied to anybody that teaches this word, because you were sent forth. That's all apostle means, to be sent away. Let me see. Okay, now let me just get into this here. This is a okay. Make Babylon fall again. Okay, so now I'm just going to play this from the beginning. This is fair use, fair use, fair use. But as you can see, this guy will ask him. You read the comment. Wes, can you debate or make a video exposing black Hebrew Israelites, I notice a ton of twisting scriptures. That's what they always say. First of all, you don't understand the scriptures to make that statement. Let me start from the beginning. So this is push that envelope. Matter of fact, I'm going to describe to these two demons right here. Okay, so it says, Wes Huff finally responds to Hebrew Israelites. So you might say, what does he know about? Does he know about? Well, you're going to see by the questions, because the first thing he mentions, well, I'm going to stay in my lane and let vocab deal with that. So he knows about the Hebrew Israelites.
Huff responds to Hebrew Israelites. Y'all, welcome back to PTE Godcast. Push the envelope. I'm Pri Sakai.
And I wouldn't even debate this guy. You know, if you had a discussion, we can have a discussion about things just to see where the guy's going, which is going to turn into a debate anyway. Discussions, when you have a discussion, there's a disagreement, that's a debate. So when you're talking with somebody, you know, you with your girl, what movie you want to see? I want to see that movie. Well, I was thinking of seeing that. That's a debate. You know? Well, baby, we'll see my movie. The next time we'll see your movie. That kills a debate. Right? The Super Bowl. Whoever the two top teams, I keep up with the NFL and AFC at the end of the season. I always watch the Super Bowl game. The last game, I'm not really into football, but people are there's always debates who's gonna ultimately win, and there's betting involved. So let me let you hear it.
AKA Deacon Genesis. What's going on, everybody? Wes Huff responds to Hebrew Israelites. Let's get right into it. What does he say? The Israelites been calling him out. The Israelites have been critiquing and scrutinizing the doctrine. He finally responds on inspiring philosophy. So let's take a listen. Fair use is going to be our thoughts and comments on this content.
Do that. Wes, can you debate or make a video exposing black Hebrew Israelites?
Vocab Malone, I think, has that covered.
Yeah.
No, Vocab Malone is a failure. Vocab Malone is a failure. Okay, he didn't do nothing. Vocab Malone is a weak guy. All right. Vocab Malone tried, but he couldn't do it. But he immediately, that shows you, if this guy knows about Vocab Malone, that means he watches, I would guess, he watches Vocab Malone's videos. Most of Vocab Malone's videos are dealing with the Hebrew Israelites. So he quickly said, well, that's Vocab Malone's, I'm in a different, let's hear it again.
Exposing black Hebrew Israelites.
Vocab Malone, I think, has that covered.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I like to stay in my lane, and
You can't stay in your lane when it comes to this thing. That's something that IUIC would say. Deacon Asaph said that we like to stay in our lane. Well, that's not. Where's that in the scripture? Thou shalt stay in your lane. And that's why they don't like. They don't like when the GMS gets on the IUIC, so we go back and forth. You know, because they be going, when you go off, we're gonna tell the world that you're going off on that, like the hell doctrine. First of all, that's a Roman Catholic doctrine, man. You turn into a Roman Catholic on us.
I do debate. I have debated a number of individuals within, Islam, Judaism, atheism, in person here in Toronto.
Okay, if you debated all them people, then the call is out there. You got to go head to head with the Israelites, and brothers are going to be lining up to go debate with you. And then the main thing, if I had a discussion with you, I would find out, what do you know about the prophecies, which I don't think you understand the prophecies. You might understand a few of them here and there, but you do not know. You're gonna lose if you attempt to break down Revelation. That's why these guys stay out of it. I went to his page, Wes Huff page, and I put in Revelation, I put in Mark of the Beast, I put in Daniel 7. Nothing comes up where he goes into any of those prophetic books. Now you got Vocab on the other hand. He's attempting to go into Daniel 7 and Daniel 2, and he'll get it half right. So you guys are lost. If you want to, you don't have the truth. You just have some information. You went to certain theological cemeteries. I call them cemeteries. They're not seminaries. They're cemeteries. They're a place where the dead go. And all you pretty much do, you're a master regurgitator. That's all you are. What you give us is what they gave you, or what you throw to the people.
Toronto, but Black Hebrew Israelites are not necessarily someone I want to spend my time on.
My father.
Okay, well, he said I dealt with the Islamic, I dealt with black Jews and this, that, and the third, but the Black Hebrew Israelites, I don't want to know. Is he scared? Is he, I don't know. But you have to, man. Hey, this is like this guy. Damn, I can't think of his name. The first guy to knock out Roy Jones, he kept going to Roy Jones's press conferences, calling him out. So you're being called out, mainly by this blockhead, the priest Hakar. He wants you, and Hakar will defeat you if he goes into the prophecies. I don't like going into those books and the Dead Sea Scrolls and this book and that and this scholar sitting on. I don't believe those guys. They're not scholars to me. They're assholes. But if he goes into the prophecies, he will wipe the floor up with you. You don't know the prophecies.
Thinks the Book of Enoch.
Well, that was short and sweet.
I would also say, what's your take on the Edomites? And you got to answer, because the Edomites or the Idumeans are mentioned in the scriptures. Where are the Edomites? What do the Edomites look like? And while he's trying to figure this shit out, I'll go to Google, put in Esau or Edomites, and go to images, and you'll see white people.
Sweet, and we know the Israelites whoop feet. We do know the Israelites whoop feet, and that was short and sweet. Although it was short and sweet, it was compact. He said a lot of things. So let's run it back, y'all. Let's run it back.
Enoch is true because
from a few weeks ago. So let's run this back.
A number of individuals within Vocab Malone. I think
black horrible things going on there. We should definitely do that.
Now, if he rolled up on us, we wouldn't call the cops on him. We'll fill him out. But if he comes with some BS, we'll call the cops on him. If he comes the right way, in other words, the way Vocab rolls on us, don't come that way. We'll call 911 on you. But if you come up sincerely and you want to have a discussion, you can go to any. So he's okay as of right now. He's okay. Vocab and the rest of them shield squad and the rest of them clowns call the cops on him.
Wes, can you debate or make a video exposing Black Hebrew Israelites?
Vocab Malone, I think, has that covered.
Now, I want to stop right there. Vocab Malone is someone who plenty of Israelite leaders in the community have spoken with. I've talked to Vocab Malone, had a couple conversations with him on YouTube. He has it to where, this is a video of him and Gorilla Hebrew. They did a debate, and this debate was called the most respectful debates ever. The most respectful debate ever. And this is by the guy who
and then speak about respect. This guy, Vocab, shows no respect to the Israelites. He'll come and be buddy with you, then he'll talk shit. He'll do a video talking shit about you. And he rolled up on us. He was on the comment board, talking shit on the comment board. Every other comment was him. And we didn't know that he was right down the street that he rolled on it. So that's deceptive. He slid it up like a snake. And that's why I didn't want to speak to him, you know. But then I said, you know what, let's speak to these guys. Let's work with them, you know. I mean, it turned out to be good. We shook hands and all that. He gave me a couple of books. But he needs, like I said, he needs us. We don't need him, okay? But everybody wants you now. We want you. You the guy that we want. And it doesn't have to be hostile, you know, hostility. It just be discussion, you know. Discussion is a nice way of saying debate, because discussions lead to debates.
Scholar, an upcoming PhD, soon to be PhD scholar, Wes Huff, and if I'm getting his title and initials wrong, please forgive me. Wes Huff says that vocab alone is the destroyer of the Israelites. Well, to be honest with you, vocab alone has battled with the best of the Israelites, and he has not got the best of the Israelites. Of course, I may say that biasly, but you know, when you look at all the discussions that he's had, and it's the same thing. So this is why we had to step higher. There was a debate with PhD scholar Dr. Michael Brown. So is it, we're trying to figure out, is Wes...
Now with Michael Brown, okay, he's a scholar. All I got to do is bring up the conversation on the Edomites, and I'll ask him about, what do you know about the God of the Edomites? Okay, what's the God of the Edomites? He would have to say Quaz. I'll pull up a picture of Quaz. This guy looks just like Quaz. He looks just like Quaz. Matter of fact, let me do this. Quaz, God of the Edomites. Look at that. That's a dead ringer for let me do this. Okay, let me bring this over here. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Motherfucker look just like Quaz. They start, when you go into the history of Quaz, Quaz is the god of the Edomites. The first god of the Edomites was Yahweh. They said, nah, we ain't with Yahweh. We're going to set up our own god that look like us. Quaz, or Quaz, it should be written in the Hebrew, which is... Right, this is the, wait a minute, that's the Paleo Hebrew. Quais, I believe. Quais. It says Quaz was the national god of the Edomites, a people who lived in what is now Israel, or the east, southeast. Quaz is also known as Kozor in Greek. Goes into the Neo-Assyrian records. Okay, Hebrew, right? I'm sorry, that was, I said, all right. Quawas. Akkadian, Greek. Kozai was the national guard of the Edomites. He was a Idumean structural parallel to Yahweh. So what they said was, we're going to make our own Yahweh and we're going to call him Quaz. Let me go to images. Come on now. Look at that. Look at that. Barry Manilow. This motherfucker looks just like Barry Manilow with horns, but he looks like Dr. Brown. Which Dr. Brown is a so-called. See? There's another picture. Look at the small. This if you put a side by side of Barry Manilow and this guy or Dr. Brown, the dead ringer. Except this one has. Some people say he's a god. It's a goddess. Some others say it's a god. So when you say, "Oh, we don't know what an Edomite looks like," oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. We don't know what an Edomite looks like. What does Google say about that? Edomites. Give me a second. Let me do it this way. Let me go to Esau. Am I spelling it right? Esau. I'll put Bible. Look at that. That's what Esau looks like. Esau. 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 Oh, we don't know what Esau looks like. Esau. 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 See, they're trying. Now, this is supposed to be Isaac. Isaac was not an Edomite. Esau. Looks like a white man to me. Let me do this. Antipater, the Edomite. The Edomite. Oh, look, Antipater. This is supposed to be Antipater. Now, Antipater's children, Herod the Great and the members of the Herodian dynasty of family, they look like Jake. Because he had married a Ishmaelite or Arab woman, which was dark skinned. They were dark, super dark back then. They're dark today. I forget her name. I always forget her name. Apostle Ramlab always helps. He remembers her name. And then it was Herod that married into among Jake because the sons came out dark. This is supposed to be Antipater. It looks like an old white guy. Looks like an old white guy. Antipater the Idumean. And this is his son. Let me do this. Open it up. So Wes Huff would look like an Edomite. It might be an Israelite. You got Israelites that look like Edomites. This is supposed to be Antipater the Idumea when he was relatively young, I guess. This guy looks like Horshack from Welcome Back Carter. He looked like Horshack. Got the classic J nose, as they say. So the truth is out there, man. But But this guy looks like a regular white guy. He can be in a Klans meeting, no problem. Okay? Look like an older white guy, maybe in his late 60s, early 70s. Look like a so-called the phenotype of a white man. Right here. Phenotype of a white man. But then they'll play stupid. Oh, well, we never seen it. We don't know what the Edomites, we don't know they disappeared. This is why this guy said, I'll leave that up to vocab. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Wes Huff saying,
and I got a handful of precepts on the word fame, because this is how we're going to get that fame.
That we don't have respect. The Israelite leaders don't have respect.
Oh, another thing, we got nothing but respect, man. We treated vocab. If we didn't treat vocab right, he wouldn't have gave us those books, and he would have left early, man. At first, we didn't want to deal with him, man, because of the way he rolled up. But then after, and I remember Adam Coleman. Adam Coleman shook my hand and shook everybody else's hand in the camp, and he said this I believe he said it 2 times. He said, "Good bill, good bill," you know.
The Israelite leaders don't have scholarship. The leaders of the Israelite community doesn't have academics, achievements and accolades.
And we don't need that, because guess what? What does it say in Acts 4 about the apostles? It said they were unlearned men. What did that mean? They didn't have a PhD at Yale University? It meant that they didn't come up under the leadership of the people that sat in Moses' seat. Now, the Apostle Paul was considered a learned man. He was an expert on the law. He was an expert on the law. Let me go ahead and get that. I know it's Philippians. It may be Philippians 3. I haven't gone to it. Let's see, Philippians chapter 3. Let's see what that says. If it's not here, I'll find it. No big deal. Oh, I was right. And there's another part of this precept that he said he was a Pharisee, and his father was a Pharisee, and he was raised up by a tutor. If you ever watched the movie The Last Emperor of China, great movie. It's like 3 hours long and change. And they showed you the scene where this guy had a tutor from England, played by this guy, Peter O'Toole, which we met. He took his hat off to us years ago. It was right. It was a block away from the cathedral down on Fifth Avenue. It was at the St. Patrick's. So it says, let me see. Okay, beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware of the concision, meaning the cut from within. So Paul is telling them, beware these Israelites that are wicked. For we are the circumcision which worship the Most High in the Spirit, and we rejoice in Hamashiach Yahushai, and have no confidence in the flesh, though I might also that have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh I more. What does he mean by that? He means that this is not about keeping the law perfectly, because we're saved by grace. But if you want to get in an argument about how perfect one is in the law, I'll beat you every time. And we're gonna read on. It says, circumcised the 8th day, meaning he came from a home that was traditionally kept the laws of Yahweh, of the stock of Israel, meaning I'm an Israelite. Now his mother doesn't say nothing about his mother, but his mother had to be an Israelite, and his father was an Israelite. His father was a religious man. He was Pharisee of the tribe of Benjamin. So guess what? When he says I'm the tribe of Benjamin, that means they kept their line, they kept their tree. They kept their tree. And Hebrew of Hebrews. How many Hebrews are there? There's more than one Hebrews. Anybody that came out of Ibar is a Hebrew. The Moabites are Hebrews. The Ammonites are Hebrews. The Edomites are Hebrews. The Ishmaelites are Hebrews. So you have many, I just mentioned four Hebrews, right? As touching the law, a Pharisee. When it comes to the law, I am a Pharisee. I am trained. I am learned. Concerning zeal, persecuting the church. Touching the righteousness which is in the law, ooh-wee. He said, if you, this is what he said. Let me read this. Let me read this in the NLT, 6th verse, right? He was unlike the Pharisees in Matthew 23. He said to keep the law, and he kept the law. Okay, let me see. Did this get changed? Let me see. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, right here it says, I was circumcised when I was 8 years old. I am pure-blooded citizen of Israel and a member of the tribe of Benjamin, a real Hebrew. I'm a real Hebrew if there ever was one. You want to talk about a Hebrew? I'm a Hebrew. Like Nathaniel, Yahushua said, Nathaniel, an Israelite indeed, and where there is no guile. I was a member of the Pharisees who demand the strictest obedience to the Jewish law. So if you were a Pharisee, you had to keep the law perfectly. Now you got IUIC talking about they're coming on a Pharisaical trip. We say keep the laws too. But if somebody comes in, well, the Passover's next week, you got to come to the Passover. No. You don't invite him to the Passover. He's got to learn first. Colossians 2, verse 16. I was so zealous that I harshly persecuted the church. And as for righteousness, keeping the law, I obeyed the law without fault. In other words, you watch me all day, put a camera on me, you ain't gonna get, we don't find no. Although that's why he said he count all things but dung. Fault. The Apostle Paul was a Stoic as opposed to an Epicurean. The Apostle Paul was a disciplinarian. I guarantee you, he had his life was together. He was like the perfect man. He was like if he got into an argument with you, you're gonna lose that argument. And he was even into the Olympics at that time because he made references to boxing, wrestling, and running a race. He was talking about the Olympics. I once thought these things were valuable or value, but now I consider them worthless because of what the Messiah has done. Because when you push that law stuff, keep the law, it's not about keeping the law. It's about coming into this truth. Number one, you got to learn you're an Israelite. That qualifies you to be part of the elect. Through time, we find out if you're the elect or not the elect. Many are called, but few are chosen. The chosen are the elect. And when you start understanding the scriptures, then you might not grow a beard. You might work on a job that you got to, I don't lose that job. It's a good job. But you might come to the point where I'm going to go to a lawyer and get a letter and this is my religion. And if they don't accept that, well, you can sue them and, you can bring I got a federal suit against a particular organization. And they're on the case, But there's an actual, website where you can put in discrimination, and the feds will get involved. And when the feds get involved, come to a company, you get that letter. It says federal government discrimination unit or whatever. That normally means when you don't comply, it goes into what's called a what is it? A title? Is it a Title 42? It's not. Damn, I had. That's a federal. When you sue people like a cop or city and federal, it's what's the damn title? And I know, and I used to study that stuff, but that's when you bring them a cease and desist or whatever the case may be, then you bring against them discrimination, where they gotta stop what they're doing. But if they keep doing it, then you bring so it's called civil rights lawsuit. And when that happens, and you found that goes all the way up to a district court, and it can go up to the district court, and then you have which is the federal court. Then you have a circuit court. A circuit court. There's only 9 regions of the circuit court. I mean, 10 regions. You know, you got different regions depending on where the crime took place or discrimination. But when you bring that to him, and see, that's how Paul was. He was like a person. That's why he said he wanted. What did he say? He spoke to Felix. He spoke to Agrippa, the Edomite. And then he said he wanted to speak to Caesar. He said, look, I want to talk to Caesar. I want to go to the Supreme Court. That means the Apostle Paul was a master of the law. And guess who taught him? Another master of the law, which was Gamaliel. See, this is stuff that Christians don't know about. Maybe guys like Wes Huff knows about it. But anyway, so that whole law stuff, that the IUIC show you that Yahweh is not dealing with IUIC at all. Because you got to keep the law. You got to wait, brother, why you wearing a hat? And why are you doing this? And this, that, and the third. Now, one of the precepts that the IUIC uses is, Matthew 19, around about the 16th verse. Is it Matthew 19? It's about the rich man. See, the rich man said he kept the laws, so you got to keep the laws too. But did the rich man go to the kingdom? No, because the Lord said, okay, you keep the laws, good, but you're lacking one thing. What's that? Take your money, give it to the poor and follow me. He said, I ain't with that. Well, guess what? He was not qualified to go to the kingdom. He can be destroyed because he had an opportunity to follow the Lord. But he had to be poor first. Right? So when you IUIC guys use that scripture, that cuts you when you really look into it, because it's saying it's more than keeping the laws. The Lord did say your righteousness have to exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, meaning you got to keep the laws. When you talk about the law, you got to keep the laws better than the Pharisees. Go and sin no more, right? Pharisees said, keep the law. Yes, do as they say, but don't do as they do, because they say and do not. So yes, when they say keep the laws, they're right. Do keep the laws, but these guys don't keep the laws. But the Apostle Paul said he kept the laws. And the King James, he said, I count all things as dung. So the Apostle Paul was, he was different from Peter and them. Anyway, let's come back to this. I'm going to give you these precepts on fame, because this is how we're going to get that fame through guys like, he helped us get famous. He, Wes Huff, which everybody, you go on Joe Rogan's show, you done made it. You done made it, man. So now, if it goes into a series of debates with Wes Huff and other Christians, and like I said, all you guys got to do, you guys that like debate these Christians, all you got to do is go into the prophecies. That's all you got to do. Do you guys know do you know the whole book? Yes, I know the whole book. I read the whole book. I'm trying to talk like Wes Huff. Okay, Babylon the Great. Where is that? What's that all about? What's the woman that sit upon the scholar-colored beast? What is the scholar-colored beast? They ain't gonna answer, even if they have the answers, because they would have to admit that they're a part of that system. Anyway, let's listen to some more. Please forgive me, I'm going long.
It can't be. It can't be. Because this is the most respectful debate ever. Then you have the world's most foremost messianic apologist, Dr. Michael Brown, having a debate in which I was a part of that debate team. That came out great. Great information on both sides. Anybody can go watch that. It's on Dr. Brown's page. I still communicate with Dr. Brown via email to this day. It's Dr. Brown debates who are the real children of Israel. I myself have debated New Testament scholar James Snap. That's on one of the pages. James Snap, New Testament scholar. We have debated him. So we're not going to list all of the debates that we've had and things like that, formal or informal. But what is the reason?
So there's a target on Wes Huff's back. There's a target on Wes Huff's back.
To Wes Huff not wanting to debate leaders in the Hebrew Israelite community. Or maybe it's not about a debate thing. He's saying that he doesn't even want to cover the Hebrew Israelites. Now, going back to Vocab Malone says that the Hebrew Israelites are the fastest growing religion in America. And this is from the Manhattan Institute, I believe. This is it. This should
right. The Manhattan Institute. About 2-3 weeks ago, I did a video covering the Manhattan, and it mentions everything. You should see how many publications that these small hats put in, these organizations put in concerning what they call the Black Hebrew Israelites. They study us, man. They know all of us. They know, oh, that's the and that's Sakari, the leader Sakari, that's Johanna, General Johanna, that's so the fame is already there. The fame is already there.
It'd be a big deal to cover, to engage with the community and see, what type of edification could come from it. Or maybe it's maybe. I'm not going to say Wes Huff is running. Wes Huff already said that he's not a debater, but he has done some debates. He may not want no smoke. He may be running. Or he may just not be interested. But
well, I mean, if he's going to have a debate, eventually that's going to happen. It'll be a series of debate. It'll come down to the undisputed champs of the truth of the scriptures. He does. All you had to do, and I guarantee you, he does it. He's not up on them prophetic scriptures, so he really doesn't understand the Bible. He doesn't understand. He can go into the Codex Sinaiticus all the live long day, but he knows nothing about the prophecies of the Bible. I go to Isaiah 50 or Isaiah 51. What is that talking about? He'll talk about that's Neo-Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. No, it's not. No, it's not. So he's ill-equipped to deal with the Israelites.
Again, if PhD scholars who are your superiors have engaged and debated with our community, why wouldn't you? If someone you mentioned in Vocab Malone has engaged with this community, the scholars in our community, and has said some of his discussions have been the most respectful debates ever, why wouldn't you? But the Israelite community is not going to beg anybody for validation or to be substantiated at all. We don't need the Christian community. The Christian community needs the Israelites, which is why you see channels solely dedicated to, the community. But what else did he say?
Vocab Malone, I think, has that covered.
Yeah.
And Vocab Malone, although he does have a channel dedicated to the Israelites, the latest statistics say that we are still the fastest so-called religion, which we don't believe in organized man-made religion, but that's what they want to classify us as. Still the fastest, so he needs help, Wes Huff. He needs your help shutting the Israelite community down. He needs your help.
You know, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I like to stay in my lane, and I do debate.
I respect that, though. I respect that. It's like I wouldn't take a debate with Wes Huff on ancient manuscripts. I'll have a conversation about it.
Did I say the same thing? We're not all into the Dead Sea Scrolls and who discovered it. A little boy discovered it and da da da. The Geneva, who was it? We're not going to go into King James and he had 47. I believe it was 47 scholars. You had a handful of them that were Greek scholars, and you had another handful of them that went into the Old Testament, which was the Hebrew. So we're not gonna go all into that. We don't need to go all into that, because this believing is truth. Is that the key word is believe, having faith. We believe that this is the book.
But that's not my expertise. I'm very familiar with and educated on the ancient manuscripts, but that's his expertise. So it just may not be his cup of tea.
I have debated a number of individuals
But
within,
never Israelites.
Islam, Judaism, atheism.
But you gotta go ahead to head. You gotta deal with the Israelites. That's the number one group out there, man. And like I said, I'm gonna give you precepts focusing on the fame.
In person here in Toronto, but Black Hebrew Israelites are not necessarily someone I want to spend my time on.
My father.
And I like that, though. That was respectful. That was so respectful, and that's why I have to give respect back to Wes Huff. Because you have some Christian apologists and scholars who try to vilify, demonize, mock, scoff at the Israelite community when it is a force to be reckoned with. And your PhD scholars have had a run for their money in multiple run-ins with the Israelite community. So I do respect how he delivered that and how he responded there. But it may change. His sentiments may change and his desire may change, and he may want to engage. And Wes Huff, I'm telling you, as one of the leaders of this community, we would be obliged to talk with you, private or public.
Yeah, because Sakari, they like to debate. They're young men. That was me 30 plus years ago. When I found out about, I used to go head to head with Eman Issa, the Dr. Yorkians. They used to be all over the place, and me and this other brother Ariala, they would have the card table selling not bean pies, but books, and we would always have debates with them. Man. And one guy was so impressed, one follower of him, he said, "You guys know your shit." He said, "But if you can deal with my master teacher, you guys are real." I said, "Where's your master teacher at?" And Myrtle Ave gave us the address, which we knew about. We knew where it was. We never went there. And we called him. He said, "Look, we're coming down there to go head to head with Dr. York." At that time, he was called Eman Issa of the Ansar Allah Community Muslims. And we went down there. It was you can make a movie about the Arab. He had buildings built like it was in the Middle East. Myrtle Ave. So we went down there. He wasn't there. So we kind of went back and forth with some of his top teachers. He filmed everything. then we said we want to come back when he's here. We want to deal with him. And I think it was 2 weeks later, they said, yeah, you can come. And it was on a Sunday. Come on a Sunday. And we said, can we bring a camera? He said, yeah, no problem. Can we bring a tape recorder? No problem. Can we bring these amount of people? No problem. It was like 7 of us. High Priest Lahab and High Priest Shaw was with us, including High Priest Ariala. He's in the spiritual realm. Barak, Elder Barak from the HODC, he was there. I think Yawanathan was there. But so the last hour, we said we called them just to make sure. Okay, we're an hour away. We'll be there in an hour. Let's just go through the checklist. We got a camera. Oh, you can't bring a camera. A tape recorder. Nope, you can't bring a tape recorder. They had professional equipment. They videotaped everything. And when we went over there, he wanted to debate with Lahab. Lahab got a little emotional. Lahab acted like he wanted to fight. Because he said, you're supposed to be the ancient men of God, and you're wearing a gi, because we used to wear karate gis, but put fringes on it, dress it up. So he said, you wearing a gi. I said, that means that he knew some martial arts. So when it came to me, they turned the mic off on me. They wouldn't let, I don't want to, I'm not dealing with him, the light-skinned brother, I'm dealing with you. So it was almost a fucking riot up in there. There was only about 8 of us in there. And there was I don't know, 500 people. He had a big spread. I mean, he had a big spread, He was very well established. And I got close enough to him where I can touch him. And I remember what I said. I said the first thing that did I say Yahushua? I don't know if I said Jesus or Yahushua. I might have said Jesus because he don't know Yahushua. I said that the first thing that Jesus is gonna do he's gonna kill your black ass. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. And then we were kicked out. We were kicked out. And we never got invited back. It's just, no, we don't come back, you guys. But then we realized that there was one of the brothers that was there, that was a master teacher under him. He was a Benjaminite. And I even got the book somewhere with his picture in it. He came up to the school. He said, I'm an Israelite. And then this Eman Issa, at that time, Dr. York, he wrote a publication just dedicated to that guy. He pulled out all his records. This nigga was in the military between 19 so-and-so, and his mother's name is this, he gave out all his information. That's why you don't give out information. I'm not looking to get your information. Now, I heard that IUIC, you got to give your driver's license, and they got to take a picture. I said, no, I ain't coming. No. You go to a church. I can go to any church right now. They'll let you sit down. They ain't going to say, well, wait, can I see you? No. Okay? So he got all this guy's information, and he just put it out there in a book. If I can find a book, it's somewhere in the house. He did a whole book on the Hebrew Israelites, the one Westers. He was naming names. See, this guy is King Mashah, and this guy is Ariyah, and this guy is Yeshaya. He said, I didn't want to do it, but you guys forced me to bring it on out. So we went head to head with this guy, And what does Acts 5:38 say? If they are not of the Most High, not so many words, they're going to come to naught. Did he come to naught? How many, what do they call themselves now? Nuwapians are there? Not many. You don't see a 1,000,001 videos on Nuwapians. And I guarantee you, there's probably 1,000,000+ videos through the years of all the different One West Israelites. Probably 1,000,001. I know, me personally, I did thousands of videos. Thousands.
This channel is going to be focusing on Wes Huff and his scholarship in a respectful, classy, and tasteful way. No, it's not going to be for the for the lifespan of this channel. It's not going to be all Wes Huff, but for now, that's what I am focusing on. And as you can see in the past videos, it's been respectful, it's been fair game. So I hope that as this channel grows, and which is growing exponentially fast, I hope that he sees it and does some response videos that we have done prior. If not, we're still rocking and rolling. The people are being edified. The people are able to see.
Yeah, and if Wes Huff is watching this video or any videos that we make with his name on it, if he sits down and say, let's have a discussion, Akar will have a discussion with you. Captain Cesario can have a discussion with you. Certain men in GMS, if you roll up on them, will have, like I said, we don't call 911 on him. We don't call 911. We don't call 911 on him if he comes the way he's supposed to come, but we'll call 911 on the rest of them. So he's got to pass. 911 will not be called on this guy. He's open to discuss with any One West Israelite, including GMS.
See both aspects, both sides of the coin when it comes to the information, biblical sophistication, doctrine, all of that, right? So, make Babylon fall again. Saviors. Jay Dyer. I want to mention this too. Jay Dyer. I'm very disappointed in certain Christian apologists. That's why I say I respect Wes Huff. Certain Christian apologists Christian scholars love to make videos on us, but won't talk to us, won't dialogue with us, won't engage. That is, it's giving fear. Now you may say, well, that's just what it's giving. I have a right to my opinion. It's giving.
I watched some of his. I went to his page, watched some of his videos, and I like what he says. He says a lot of good things. He says a lot of things that are true. He goes in. There's one video. It's, I don't know, 6 minutes, short video concerning the name of Yahweh, and he breaks it down. Excellently, excellent, in an excellent way, tongue twister. Anyway, he breaks it down, and he goes into the word Yahweh. He goes into the word that the so-called people back there, they changed the name Yahweh to. That's why sometimes you see the word Adonai or Adawanya, which means Lord, like a superior, because the people back there, whether they were Israelites or the fake people, they said, "Oh, we don't want people to mistakenly say his name and blaspheme his name, so we're gonna change the name." So when you come across the word, ask any small hat that's going to temple, the word Yahweh, ask them to read it. They'll say Hashem. I said, no, it doesn't say that. I said, why don't you read what it says? He said, I can't. My rabbi said, don't. When you see that word, which spells out Yahweh, don't say it. Say Hashem, which is the name. But what is the name? Well, my rabbi, And now the reason why they said it is in the scripture. It says the Most High's name, in not too many words, is dreadful among the the heathen. That's not their name. That's not his name. That's what they'll say.
Giving Frady Cat. It's giving Frady Cat. Don't go making all these videos about us and then not wanting to engage with us. It's just it's unfair. It's unfair. It's like being at the boxing gym, hitting the punching bag, and then you videotaping yourself hitting the punching bag, saying, "See how good I am, y'all. I'm great." The punching bag can't swing back. Everyone's doctrine sounds good until it gets tested. Can it withstand the test of the sword, the spiritual sword? So
so bottom line is, there's an arrow. There's a target on your back, but we're not going to shoot you. There's a target on your back. You're the top guy. You're at the top of the food chain when it comes to Christianity. All right, you're over vocab now. Vocab is a persona non grata. We'll call the cops on him in a heartbeat. Anything he's going to say is something that he said 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He's been messing with us since 2016. Anyway, let me go into these precepts. I'm like an hour and a half into this thing. I just put these together. Pretty much, I did a word search on the word fame, and pretty much I wrote these scriptures line by line. I said, damn, all these scriptures hit. But then I added a couple of them. You know what? Let me go to... so I'm going to hit these precepts super quick. Because now we're getting that fame. What gave us this fame? Going on to YouTube. If there wasn't no YouTube, there wasn't no, no web, anything to get these videos out, you wouldn't have Sakari. You wouldn't have a Wi-Fi. You wouldn't have any of these groups. You know? Look, Nate became big in numbers because of the YouTube. He put up a bunch of videos and he put a nice package around it, you know? So you got these nice exclusive restaurants, the ambiance, the beautiful restaurant, the food is but then you got these hole in the ground restaurants that people don't know about. And damn, there's a hole in the ground, but this food, and that's pretty much GMS. We got this good food for you. You know, they do these little food videos on TV, and they go to go deep down the South where they make barbecue. You know, it's a damn shack there, but it's the best barbecue on the planet. So let me just go into this. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle, Aaron to take his rod, his staff, and cast it before Pharaoh, and it became a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as Yahweh commanded. Aaron cast down the rod before Pharaoh and before the serpent. And Pharaoh, like in a actual movie with Yul Brynner. What's his name? Yul Brynner? Is that his name? The guy that played Pharaoh. He kind of snickled and said, get our men. Get our, magicians. Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. The sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt had also did like manner with their enchantments. So they had power from the left-hand side. So you can get power from the left-hand side. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Now, it didn't say two right here, right? It just said every man cast down his serpent. And it says Aaron's rod that became a serpent swallowed them, meaning they got power on the left-hand side, spiritual power on the left-hand side, but the right-hand side power is more powerful. So that was that was like a test, like a challenge, And Pharaoh saw it. He said, wait a minute, these guys got more power than we do. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, because Pharaoh got scared. He said, I don't know, man. We think about letting these people go. Moses said, nope, I'm not ready for them to go yet. I'm going to harden your heart. Man's goings of the Most High, so how can a man then understand his own way? And a dream and a vision by night, when deep sleep falls upon a man, then he stilleth their instruction, that he hearken not unto them as Yahweh had said. Now, why didn't he hearken? He wanted to hearken. He said, you know what? Y'all pack up. We give y'all the severance pay and y'all can go. I ain't effing with y'all. I ain't effing with y'all no more. But the Most High intervened and said, nope. And there was another point where he got scared. When all them plagues came at him, he said, man, I'm going to let you people go. And the Most High said, nope, I'm not ready. I'm going to harden your heart. All right? And then what did he say? He told Moses, he said, leave. And pray for me as well. Give me a blessing from your God. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that. Give me a second. Give me a second. And the old saying, this guy put the fear of God in you. Well, guess what? The Most High put the fear of God in Pharaoh. Pharaoh of Egypt asked Moses to pray for him as well. Okay, let me see. Bring this back. Okay, that's Exodus 10, verse 16 to 23. Then Pharaoh hurried to call for Moses and Aaron and said, I have sinned against the Lord, your power, and against you. Now therefore, please forgive my sin only this once more, and pray and entreat the Lord our power, your power, so that he will remove this plague of death from me. That's the plague that got him. There's a movie they show his son died, his young son died. Let me just go to the precept. There's lessons within lessons. And Pharaoh Moses hates Lord against now, therefore. Okay, now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat Yahweh, your God, your power, that he may take away from me this death only. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahweh. And Yahweh turned a mighty strong west wind, Red Sea, not one locust in the coast of Egypt, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. So the Most High intervened. This guy was saying, I don't want to deal with these people no more. It said they were afraid, but yet durst fight. What is that? 2 Ezra chapter 13. When they go to fight these angels, these chariots, they're going to be afraid, but the Most High going to put the spirit on them to go fight. Let me see. And the Lord said to Moses, stretch out thy hand in the heaven, and the darkness in Egypt, darkness. And Moses stretched out his hand for the heavens and the thick darkness. Now that's in Song of Solomon 17, and all, if I'm not mistaken, in all the land of Egypt, 3 days. It said the darkness was so strong, you felt you can be in a dark room, right? But this darkness was so strong that it could have been a black hole that the Most High, put on them. You can feel what kind of darkness is that? You can feel the weight of the darkness. Now that's some darkness for your ass. If they lit a match, you couldn't see the light. You couldn't, the old saying, I can't see 2 feet in front of me. You couldn't see, period. If you lit a torch, no fire. If you look up into the heavens, you couldn't see no stars. That was it had to be a black hole. I mean, that's just a theory, right? Because Esau knows something about black holes. I'm going to look at that. It says, they saw not one another. Right. They saw not one another, neither rose any from its place for 3 days. They just stand here, man. You got to go to the bathroom, go to the bath. The Most High messed them up. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So the Most High is raising us up. And the elite sees this. The elite sees this. Let me do this. Was the darkness in Egypt a black hole? Was the darkness in Egypt a black hole? There was a blackout. What was the real deal with the Egyptian darkness? 2008, the Egyptians were supposedly free and suffered thick darkness. Right, thick. It was thick. You felt it. None of you have ever experienced that darkness. Israelites were not free and did not experience this plague. What was the darkness of Egypt? It says darkness that can be felt. Okay, let me look at this. This is from Cambridge University, so they know they shit. Black holes viewed from within, hell in ancient Egypt. So let's open this up. Because you think about that darkness, it had to be a black. First thing you think about is a black hole. Black hole viewed from within, hell in ancient Egypt thought. Okay, let me just read some of it. I'm not going to read all of it. Among the ancient Egyptians' hieroglyphs is a sign that can be termed and defined as a black hole. It is a circle written being two-dimensional, filled in black, appearing in the Old Kingdom pyramid text for the first time, initially serving as a determinative for concepts like death or enemy. It is also later used for the words like pit, hole, like black hole, or cave, which is a black hole. And in a few rare instances, the black circle determines the word for the netherworld or shade, the netherworld. Let's go on the black hole. And Esau's are scared of black holes. They say if you go into a black hole and you do a 180-degree turn, you can't get back out. It's a different dimension. Black hole. And the angels made Yahushua made black holes. What was inside a black hole? Let's see what this says right here. Black holes have two parts. There is the event horizon. There was a movie, the event horizon, which you can think of as the surface, though it's simply the point where the gravity gets too strong for anything to escape. And then at the center is the singularity. That's the word to describe it. Let me see. First ever direct image of a black hole. So Esau claims they got. Ooh, look at that. That's an eye right there. That's a straight up eye. That's an eye. They don't want to mess with them black holes. First ever direct image of a black hole taken in radio wavelength, located at the core of Messiah 87 animated simulation of a Schwarzschild black hole with a galaxy passing behind around the time of alignment. Extreme gravitational lensing of the galaxy is observed. So they do know about black holes. They knew. They don't understand space, man. Look at this. Look at this. That's a black hole. And they know not to go in it. You go into it. You go into it for about a couple of feet, a couple of yards. You turn around, you can't get out. You do a 180, you can't get out. It's beyond the 3 dimensions. Remember what the Apostle Paul spoke about. So anyway, so when Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai brings these plagues, the time of Jacob's trouble, which you can also call the time of Esau's trouble, because they're going to be troubled as well. You know? And the other nations that are here in America, the time of Jacob's trouble. When the Most High gets deep on you, he said, I'm going to deal with black holes now. He did that to the Egyptians. So I speculate that it could have been a black hole. What's the explanation for the dark? It could have been a black hole. So we almost out of here, man. Believe me, we almost out of here. Okay, let me go to I didn't even read Exodus. Okay, let me go to Isaiah. See, everything that we see on the news, all these wars that are popping up all over the place. You got the changing of the guards with the president. And we're going to see, everybody's going to be watching. But matter of fact, the whole world is going to watch the inauguration of Trump. The whole world. Now, if it's an inauguration for some Indian guy, they ain't going to make it. The whole world is going to stop and watch that. They're going to have bands playing. They're going to have music and all that. And we're going to see where this man's at day one. Day one, he going to hit that button. So now let's come over here. Prophecies about Babylon, which Wesley Huff knows. Wesley Huff knows absolutely nothing about the prophecies. Period. He would get smashed. The burden, but like I said, Wesley Huff, you are invited to talk to the Israelites. Even GMS. We don't like talking to other people, but you're invited if you come correct. And you coming to us. We ain't coming here. We don't got to come to you. Is it the burden? And you're not even really a top scholar. You up there. The burden of Babylon. But like this guy, Dr. James White, I was watching a video. He said that Michael the Archangel is Christ. He said when Christ was born, this Messiah was born on earth, that Michael went back in the spiritual realm. You know? But then when the Lord rose, he went back and he put on Michael again. Although some scriptures seem to sound like it, but Michael is behind Yahweh Shai. The burden of, and you know what proves that? Daniel chapter 10. Read the whole chapter, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. What's the high mountain? This system, starting with America. Okay, the marching orders come out of London, but the place where the focus is here in America. That's why I said to Bishop Nate, you're talking about going to other nations. That shit ain't going to pan out. Everything is happening here, and the focus is here in America. Exalt the voice unto them. Where? In America. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. So this Wesley Huff guy, if there's a debate or discussion, it doesn't have to be a debate, Wesley. It does not have to be a debate. It could be a friendly discussion. Okay? You can see where we go. You might say, what about we don't go by all that. Okay? What about the well, I don't know about it. Okay, then you ain't no real scholar of the Bible. All right? So you would be considered a lower noble. It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. This goes into the destruction. So now so this is what I wanted. Lift ye up a banner when we make the videos, when we go out on the highways and the byways, when we have these debates upon the high mountain, America. Exalt the voice unto them who? The Israelites and the other nations. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. Let me look up the word noble or nobles. I may even look it up in the Greek, in 1 Corinthians. Okay, nobles. Nadayab. Nadayab. Inclined, willing, noble. Princely, rank. Noble, noble one. Prince. Let me look up the word noble in 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Many noble, not many noble are called.
Strong's G 2104, eugenes. Eugenes.
Eugenes. Well born, a noble family, noble minded. Good. That's what I wanted. How many times is this written in the script, in the book? They were more noble than, right, more noble, highly esteemed. Luke 19:12, he said, therefore, a certain noble man went into a far country. And then you got 1 Corinthians 6. So noble is pretty much the same as noble in the Old Testament. This guy would kind of be, Wes Huff would kind of be considered a lower noble. He's not a top scholar. He doesn't know them. He does not know the prophecies. He'll get lost with the prophecies. Okay, so now let's come over here. Genesis 45:16. Genesis 45:16. Okay. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. See, right now we're infamous. Infamous and famous is pretty much the same thing. Hitler was infamous. George Washington was famous. Christopher Columbus was famous. To us, he was infamous. Now, if thou, Numbers 14:15, now if thou shalt kill all this people, as this is the Lord, this is Moses spoken to the Lord, as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because Yahweh was not able to bring this people. You know, the Lord was actually testing Moses, see what he would say. Most High was not going to destroy Israel. Let's come back. Let's go over here. Come back a couple of verses. Let me see. I want to go right to the point. Right. Moses pleads for the people. Okay, and Yahweh said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? I will smite them, the Israelites, with the pestilence and disinherit them. I like this. Disinherit them. Why does it say in Romans 9, the adoption? When you disinherit somebody, you find out you re-love the person, reconcile, and you love the person like your son. You can disown your son. Your son can disown you, right? But then y'all come back together. So that's the same relationship between us and Yahweh, the Father. That's why Paul said what he said in Romans 9. It was 9:4. The adoption, because we're no longer sons of the Most High. Yahweh Shai came, you accept Yahweh Shai, Now you're adopted back as my sons. That's why all Israelites are not going to make it out of America. I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make of thee a greater nation and a mightier than they. Well, you know what he had to do? He had to get some more Israelites from the spiritual realm. And them Israelites that you smited, they're going to have to come back through them. Okay. Bear with me for a minute. I might want to go a couple of verses above. Joshua 6, verse 27. So Yahweh was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country. The first act that we did in coming into the land was kill 7 nations, slaughtered 7 nations. So where's that God love everybody? Joshua 9 and verse 9. And they said unto him from a far country. This is the story of these. Was it 2 of them? Let me do this. This is the guy. These are the 2 guys that were Canaanites. And the men of Israel said unto the Hivite, peradventure they dwell among us, make a league with us. And they said unto Joshua, we are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, who are ye, and from whence ye come ye? And they said unto him, from a far country. These were Canaanites that were in the land that lied to Joshua and the leadership of Israel, so they won't get put to death. So they were supposed to put them to death. No, we're Canaanite. Kill them too. Kill them also. But they lied, so they made a vow. They said, we're not going to kill you. You read the whole story. I'm not going to go on through it. Then when they realized that these guys were actually living in the land all the time, but we made a vow unto them, a promise unto them that we're not going to kill them. So what we're going to do, we're going to put them in slavery. Let me see. Let me put in the word water. Water. Okay, it says, this what we'll do, because they made a vow that they're not going to kill him. This we will do to them. We will even let them live, because they made a promise that they wouldn't kill him, lest wrath be upon us, meaning from the Most High, because you told them, you made a vow that you weren't going to kill him, and then you're going to turn around and kill him. The Most High can come and get you, because the oath which we swear unto them. So like I said, read this whole chapter. And the princes said unto them, let them live, but let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation, as the princes had promised them. So what does it mean by being hewers of wood and drawers of water? Slaves. And let's rent them out. Let's rent them out to different. Let me see something here. That's what it means. Let me do this. Let me do this. Okay, so black hole is the darkness of Egypt, a black hole. Remember, the darkness in Egypt, you felt it. There was a weight on you. You didn't see darkness, you felt darkness. Okay, commentary. Let me just do this. Bible, let's see what they say. I'm going long. I want the commentary. Okay, let's go to commentary. You as a wood and draws of waters, trees, a tie cutter. They were devoted to the sanctuary called at a later period, and were bound to discharge menial duties, which is slavery, which usually devolved upon the lowest classes. Ye stand this day, all of you, before the Lord, your power, your captains and your tribes, your elders and your officers, and Israel, little ones. The little ones are not anybody that's under 20 years old. The little ones are the infants and the toddlers. You can even go as far as somebody under 12. Your wives and thy strangers, which are Israelites in the camp, the ewer of wood unto the drawer of water. Let me see this. But that's what it means. They say right here that the ewer of woods and drawer of water are menial tasks that they had to do. No, it was slavery. You got one Israelite, okay, do this, cut them trees down, get that, do this, get this other, get that calf over here. And then they would do it because they didn't want to get put to death, because they promised them that they wasn't going to. Remember, Esau was scared to death at the Israelites. That's in Deuteronomy 2nd chapter. Okay, let's go to 1 Kings 10, verse 1, and we're going to jump to 7. I'm trying to move fast here. What now? Okay, this goes in the Queen of Sheba, right? What does it say? What I'm going to jump to? Jump to 7. Okay. And when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, by the way, Solomon came back as our Lord Yahushua concerning the name of Yahweh. So now, if the Most High was never Yahushua only dealt with us, Yahweh never dealt with us. When Nathan came to have a son, you're talking about Solomon, who told Nathan to tell David that? Yahweh. It wasn't Solomon. As a matter of fact, Solomon prayed to the Father. And Christians don't understand that. She came to prove him with hard questions. Because everybody would talk to this man. You got to talk to this man here. This guy, wow. This guy knows his stuff. 7th verse, howbeit I believe not the words, saying this bitch didn't believe the word, which Makeda, the Queen of Sheba, was a hoe. She was involved in a thing called polyandry. Like you got polygamy means many women, a man dealing with more than one woman. Polyandry means a woman dealing with many men. So she dealt with many men. Now this bullshit about, they had, no, first of all, Solomon wasn't going to lay with it. The woman that he lay with were virgins, all right? Young women. He wasn't laying with no, he didn't have to lay with no hoe. Howbeit I believe not the words until I came and mine eyes had seen it, and behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard. Oh, you got to hear. There's another, somebody can give me this, I'm not going to look for it. She mistaken the doorman to be Solomon. So the doorman was decked out. Somebody find that precept for me. Whether it's in the scriptures, the Josephus, or the Apocrypha. I believe it's in the scriptures, which I'm not going to go for. I'm not going to look for it. Because if you a multi-millionaire, billionaire, let's say, millionaire is nothing, that's welfare case. Billionaire, trillionaire, the people around you are going to be decked out too. Your servants are going to be decked out. Jake in slavery that was in the house, they were decked out. They were mostly light-skinned. Light-skinned. And the fame of David went out unto all lands, and Yahweh brought the fear of him upon all nations. They said, don't mess with this kingdom right here. This guy David, he don't play. David don't take no shorts. Papa don't take no mess. So right now we're infamous, and soon we'll be famous. Now, if we, which I don't think that's going to happen, Wes Huff, he's not going to engage, because all he's going to do is make us more famous. The other day, was last week, Alex Jones said, I spoke to the black Hebrew Israelites. You never spoke. You passed us. You never spoke to us. Luke Radowski spoke to us for about an hour and change. And he would have stayed there. Somebody said, okay, it's time to go. Now, Apostle Gabar said that Alex Jones looked nervous. I don't know why he looked nervous. He should have said, hey, how you doing, Luke? We didn't do nothing to Luke Radowski, and he's a so-called white man. Matter of fact, we told Luke, look, you an Israelite. He said that recently. He said, them guys called me an Israelite. He said, I'm an Israelite too. You a Polak just like Curtis Lee. We told Curtis Lee you an Israelite. And he looked at us like he wanted to kill us. But then Curtis started talking to you, come up and talk to us. First Chronicles 22, verse 5. And David says, Solomon, my son, is young and tender, and the house that is to be built for Yahweh. Now, King David didn't build a house because he had too much blood on his hand. As great as he was, as much as the Lord loved him, he was the beloved of the Lord. The word David means beloved. Solomon built the temple because he's building the temple now. The temple, you got these people in Israel, they're pushing out Gaza, and I see why they're doing it. And really, they're not wrong with doing it because the Arabs did that to them. You got to go back to them wars, them crusades. They were killing off each other, man, left and right. There was a point, go to the history of Saladin, where they defeated the Israelites in Jerusalem. And they said, look, Saladin showed them mercy and said, look, we're not going to kill you no more. We got you, but we're going to keep your king. We're going to torture his ass. Watch the movie, The Kingdom of Heaven. Great movie. Great period piece. What he said was, to Godfrey, he said, we're not gonna kill y'all. We just want Jerusalem, and we're gonna let y'all go in peace. Just give up Jerusalem, and they did. So that hatred goes all the way up to now. The descendants of the people of those Arabs are the Palestinians today. So that's why they're saying the hell with the babies, because the Arabs didn't give a damn about their babies. But those were Jakes back then. That was around the 1200s. We go into the history. History is vast. Let me see. Solomon and the build for the Lord must be exceedingly magnifical. So it was given to Yahushua to build it because he's building the church right now. I will build it in 3 days. In 3 days, right? The 3 days represent 1,000. A day to the Most High is 1,000 years. 1,000 years is 1 day. So we're in the third day. Hosea 6, right? So the new temple that's being built are the Israelites. We represent a brick, so you can understand. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are the Most High's building. So they're looking to actually build a physical third temple when we are that temple. It's a people, but the temple is a people before it's a place. Magnifical and fame and of glory throughout all countries. Now, Solomon's house was more magnificent than the temple, the Lord's house. It took 7 years to build the Lord's house, and it took 14 years to build Solomon's house. So you know he had a bad house. Can you imagine getting a house built and it took 14 years? You have a son that's born on that day. When the house is built, he's damn near 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. That's a bad house. You know what I mean? I will therefore now make preparations for it, so David prepared abundantly before his death. So he said, Solomon's going to be the king. Nathan came to him. Bathsheba, soften him up. Women do that. When you got a woman, they all like, baby, how you doing? What do you want? How much money do you need? I made you something special. How you doing, baby? What you want? No, I don't want nothing. That's bullshit. You wouldn't be like that. And they show you that on the honeymooners, little skits and so forth. But you know that you men that have experience with women, they want to get something out of you. They're gonna soften you up, all right? See, none of these Christians understand Solomon, and you can really mess a Christian up with this whole thing about Solomon having an everlasting kingdom. How can everlasting be 40 years? And they'll give you a whole lot of gobbledygook because his kingdom is on pause. And I always say that. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm moving kind of fast. Okay, Esther 9:4. And it was the key character of Esther, the book of Esther, was Mordecai. He was the mastermind. And he became more famous. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces, all the states, and there was 127 states. For this man, Mordecai waxed greater and greater. The 5th verse, thus the Israelites smote all the enemies. The number one enemies were the Amalekites, was Haman and his sons, and they were hung up. They were slaughtered and hung. Or hung, slaughtered with the sword. These were the Amalekites that they were getting, jacked up. The Edomites, so you can understand. Job 28, we almost finished. Hang with me. Job 28 and 22. Destruction and death destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears. So let's see what that's talking about. I mean, you can apply it to now. And Yahweh's name, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's name will be famous in the kingdom. Because they're going to know it was Yahweh's judgment that destroyed this place. Zephaniah 3:19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. This is talking about now. And I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And was not we driven out the land. And I will get them, the Israelites, starting with the elect, praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Was we not put to shame in America? It says in Daniel, the saint wore out the saints of the Most High. That's talking about slavery. That's talking about all that shit is going. There's going to be a role reversal, man. And guess what we're going to do when we get in that higher seat? We're going to fuck up these other nations, man. Starting with Esau. Esau is number one on the list. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. We're being gathered right now through the prophets. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth. That's the kingdom. When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Yahweh. Give me a second. Okay, Baruch. Let me do this. Baruch. What is that? Baruch 2. And I'll start at 25. In the house which is called by my name, the house of Israel and the house of Judah, the two kingdoms. So we know that this is talking about now. O Lord Yahweh, the Most High, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness and according to all that great mercy of thine. As thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write thy law, it's the Most High's law, before the sons of Israel, saying, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, scattered, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, the number one land is America, they shall remember themselves. What is that talking about, Wes Huff? Talking about now. Ezekiel 37 should come to mind. And shall know that I am Yahweh, their power. So in this time of the prophets going out waking people up, we got to tell them the name of Yahweh and the name of his beloved Son and the name of the Holy Spirit. For I give them an heart or mind and ears to hear. Who's going to hear? The elect. And they shall praise me in the land. How do you praise somebody? By calling on his name. Of their captivities, and think upon my name. Now it goes deeper than just calling on a name. You got to be in this thing. You can't be an adulterer and you pray, ask Yahweh to forgive you for adultery. You go out and commit adultery. No, they ain't talking about that. It starts with the name. And return from their stiff neck, and from their, like Bishop Nate, he has a stiff neck. And from their wicked deeds. And like Nate, he's involved in wicked deeds because he's telling people like the mark is not have nothing to do with the microchip. Now, if them people follow him, if they're not the elect, they're gonna follow him and they're gonna take the chip. If he does say so, he said no, go ahead and take the chip. He might lead you to the chipping place with it on a fucking horse. For they shall remember the way of their fathers. Their fathers called the name of Yahweh, which sinned before Yahweh. And I will bring them again unto the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham. We are saved because of the promise with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords, which means landlords, overseers, masters on a physical sense. Not that's why I said Lord lowercase l as opposed to Lord uppercase. Lords of it, and I will if you're a lord, then you have servants, right? And I will increase them, that's the kingdom, and they shall not be diminished. We're gonna have what did he say? multiply. What does it say? It's a multiply thy seed. Isaiah 60. A small one shall come a great nation, and so forth. A little one shall become 1,000, a small one a great nation. And I will make an everlasting covenant. That's the second covenant with them. Who are the them? The people that came out of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To be their power, and that's in the kingdom, and they shall be my people, Israel, not the church, not the body of believers of any nation, it's the church. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. So that whole bullshit, that clownery that Nate said, Gog and Magog, first of all, there's no such thing as Gog and Magog. It's Gog, Magog, Gog from the land of Gog. So you didn't even know that. You never brought that back up again. You know why? Because you listened to the tape and you realize how stupid you sounded. But your zombies didn't see a goddamn thing. Just saying. Okay, Matthew 4. We almost out of here. Matthew 4, 24. Matthew 4:24. Bear with me, I know I went long. I'm long-winded sometimes. And his fame, whose fame? Yahushua's fame went throughout all Syria. You had Israelites and said, you got Israelites out there thinking they're Arabs. They Israel, a lot of Ephraimites out there. Did not Paul go to Syria? It says, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, possessed by devils, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatics, crazy people. Be it a crazy person is a demon, and those that had the palsy, which is autoimmune disease, and he healed them. And there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee and from Decapolis. I gotta look that up. This is a city, Decapolis. And from Jerusalem and from Judea and from beyond Jordan, except for the uttermost side of the earth, which was America. All right. Matthew 14:1. We got 2 precepts, and you can eat your breakfast. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahushua. That's all we need to read. Oh, it says, and said unto his servants, this is John the Baptist. He is arisen from the dead. So Herod was scared, right? That particular Herod. And therefore, mighty works do show forth themselves in him. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison. Herodias' sakes, his brother Philip's wife, because he's committed adultery. Showing you that and the reason, and now the thing was this. He was partying with this guy's, Philip, his brother's wife. And would show you that they're Edomites. Jake don't do no shit like that openly. And it caught John the Baptist caught wind of it and just started cursing him out. He said, how you gonna call yourself an Israelite? How you gonna call yourself keeping the laws when you laying with your brother's wife? And he got the Herodians were always afraid. They were like, because they knew, like I said, the Edomite, there was a large sum of Edomites that fought on the side of Jake during the time of 70 A.D. This is coming to you from the Apostle Tahar. Ain't no Israel. Nate is not gonna tell you that because he doesn't know. He don't know that Edomites were fighting on the side of Jake. He didn't know that against other Edomites. He didn't know that. One more precept, man. Please bear with me. You can bear with me for another minute. Luke 5:15. Let's see what that says. So we already famous, but we're infamous. we're famous in a negative way. But so much the more went there a fame abroad of him, which is Yahushua, and great multitudes came together to hear and to be healed by him of their infirmities, right? And he drew himself into the wilderness and prayed. I'm not going to read any more. And then described in the Pharisees, they didn't like that. They wanted to kill him. Some of them believed. So anyway, I went long. Please forgive me. Anyway, shalom, on to the next. Shalom.